Elections have hit fever pitch in Canada. In-person advance voting ended in the country on Monday night local time, and the grand finale of voting at polling stations will take place on April 28th. Canadians stepped out in large numbers during early voting for 4 days in an election that is extremely crucial for the country and comes at a time when geopolitical uncertainty over tariff war and internal crisis are all piling up. For voters, it is important to decide which party can take up this Herculean task, and are voting preferences changing?
Well, honestly, since being in Canada for the past 18 years, I've never voted. This election has definitely caused me to come out and cast my vote. It's a very historical vote.
Yeah, because I've always been like an NDP voter. But, well, this time around, it's voting Liberal. But I say it with like a bit of like hesitation because, yeah, it's the whole idea of strategic voting that like...
Completely honest, this is going to be the first election where I'm waiting until the final day to actually make my decision. Everything's evolving almost daily, it seems like right now. So I really want to give all the parties time to really explain their platform and to choose which one best represents my interests and those of the vulnerable youth that I serve here in Victoria.
I've nenever voted Liberal before. Now, let's say I've changed my mind because I think maybe Mark Carney is the right man to take on Trump.
The Liberal Party, how quickly can it change from the Trudeau politics that were there? Maybe they can change quickly, but I want to make sure that I can get a change of some sort. So I will be voting the other way in this election.
So you're going to vote Conservative?
I'm going to be voting Conservative.
The election is a close contest between incumbent Liberal Party led by a new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and on the other end is opposition rival Pierre Poilievre leading the Conservatives. Opinion polls put Liberals marginally ahead of the Conservatives. Mr. Dave Gordon is a journalist and communications strategist. Is now joining us live on this broadcast from Toronto. Dave, good to see you. Thank you very much for making time for us. And it's a very important time for Canada. Who do you think has the eyes, the ears, and the minds of Canadians?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And that's the $64,000 question. Who has the ears and the minds of Canadians? Because right now, if the polls are correct, there's about 44% of Canadians that think that Mark Carney has the eyes and the ears of everyday Canadians, and about 39% would say Pierre Poilievre of the Conservatives. But that's just percentages. Mm-hmm. Percentages are a whole different thing of seat projections. Because as you know, in Canada, we have a first past the post democratic system, a parliamentary system, where all you need is one vote more than your opposition to win. And the seats distribution projection is that Mark Carney, as of today, looks like he's going to have a majority government by a handful of seats. So those percentage points actually do translate into a significant more number of seats than people might suspect. But anything can happen in the next week. Right now we've had 2 million advanced votes, which means, to my mind, that this is a consequential election when so many people have come out to advance vote.
Mr. Dave, very quickly as we wrap up this conversation, in your margin, how would you compare Mark Carney's popularity and Pierre Poilievre's popularity? You said it's a week ahead of the elections, so what's the margin?
Well, in terms of popularity, I think that Mark Carney is a little bit tainted by the Trudeau Trudeau name, the Liberal name, but that hasn't stopped a lot of people from thinking that he's very different kind of representative. I know some people who aren't going to vote for him because they think that he's Trudeau 2.2. Pierre Poilievre has had a lot of very successful rallies. And so I guess the determining factor is we all see what happens with GOTV, get out the vote. What happens when people actually get off their chairs and go out to the ballot box, because that's the day that everything is decided. You can do all the polls you want, do all the popularity tests you want, but it's on the ballot box that really counts. So both sides are really trying hard to get people out to vote.
All right, so let the people decide. Dave Gordon, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
All right. Thank you very much.